Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again towards Parashat Ba'alotcha. A short and sweet idea. I think this parasha can teach us a very important lesson about our attitude towards life. It says in this parasha a very interesting pasuk. Vayhi ha'am k'mit'onanim ra ba'oznei Hashem. Am Yisrael were complaining. Okay, it's not the first time they're complaining, but this time HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very, very angry with them. Why is he more angry here than anywhere else? And the answer is, previously they asked for water, they got water. They asked for food, they got food. Here they're complaining, and it doesn't say why they're complaining. Rashi says they're complaining in order to get out of the mitzvahs. And the Ramban says, it's a lack of gratitude. What do you mean you're complaining? You're walking in the desert. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of everything, your food and your drink and your clothing and whatever you need, and the cloud is above you, protects you, and the fire goes in front of you. You're being fully protected. You're being fully fed. What are you complaining about? They complained in order to complain. Complaining as a state of mind. What does complaining as a state of mind come from? It comes from, I'm selfish, I'm proud, I deserve more than that, and therefore I'm complaining. That was the main offense of Adam in the Garden of Eden, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, what did you do eating from the wrong tree? He said, no, what do you mean? The wife that you gave me. It's your fault. You gave me this wife. She gave me the food. And afterwards, with Cain and Abel. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Cain, what did you do? So he said, do I have to look after my brother? Am I my brother's keeper? What kind of answer does he have these? These are answers that come from selfishness and come from pride. This is not the way to react to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't complain to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is not a complaint department. So what do we do? How are we supposed to approach things that we don't have? And the answer is, we have to request them. And there's a big difference between a request and a complaint. It's a huge difference. Because a request comes out of humility. A request comes out of modesty. If you don't mind, I would like this. If you don't mind, I like that. Not that I deserve it. But complaints comes from a certain selfishness and a certain pride. And therefore, there's a big difference. I know in classroom many times it has happened to me that a student will pick up their hand and say, why is Rashi saying something so silly? So I would stop the lesson and say, do you really think Rashi is silly? Do you really think you understand this pasuk better than Rashi? Think about your question and ask me again. So he used to put up his hand and say, excuse me, Rabbi, I don't understand Rashi. What is he saying? I said, oh, that's a good question. Don't complain to me about Rashi. Ask me questions about Rashi. That's fine. Questions, requests, that's fine. In fact, the Talmud in Yevamot tells us that when we daven, we should have our eyes down and our heart up. Shemitpalel yu einav lemata v'libo lemala. What does that mean? Maharal of Prague gives a beautiful insight on that and says, when we daven, we have to have two things in every davening that we have. One is our eyes are down, which means we're like a poor man, and we are, with a lot of humility and a lot of modesty, requesting for what we don't have. On the other hand, our heart is up, and it's full of happiness and satisfaction and gratitude to what we do have. There is not a person in the world that doesn't have things to ask for, and there's not a person in the world who hasn't got things he has to be grateful for. HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepts our davening if it comes out of humility and it comes out of modesty. We request, we don't complain, we request what we don't have, and we give gratitude for what we do have, and we give thanks for what we do have. And these do not contradict. These are two emotions that complement each other. Gratitude and request, they complement each other. But just complaining, just to say, oh, I deserve more than that, that gets you nowhere. And that is not the way to refer to Hakadosh Baruch Hu for sure. And therefore, the Talmud sets us straight, the Maharal sets us straight with our direction that we need to take. Not to kvetch, not to kind of stum. We have to take responsibility. And taking responsibility, when the minute we kvetch, we say, this is why'd you do that? And we start complaining. But when we complain, we shake off responsibility. We're saying it's not our fault, it's because of this, it's because of that. Like Adam, like Cain. But when we request something, we take upon ourselves responsibility. When Avraham says Hineni, when all the Avot, when Hakadosh Baruch Hu approaches them, say Hineni. Hineni means here I am. I'm willing to take responsibility, and that is what we teach in all our yeshivot and in our upanot. Don't kvetch. Don't complain in vain. If you have a problem, make a request. If you're happy about something, give praise, give thanks. Those are the emotions that we have to take from this parasha. That's why the parasha ends with the story of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he is the most, he's the person who has the greatest humility and the greatest modesty in the world, and that's why he became Moshe Rabbeinu. Shabbat Shalom.